Thing.
Nerves.
We're ending at 7. So
No.
What's 7? We're gonna start at 7.
Say hello to Facebook.
Are we on? Go ahead. Just give me the countdown. I'm just saying, Dre, it's coming to a town near you.
Oh, it's up. I see.
oh, it is. Hey.
Yeah. And your mics are on, ladies, by the way. So, yeah, you're going to do all that
Good
now.
evening.
Yeah, going to do all that y'all was doing before we went on. Go on.
It's gonna come back around. Just hold on.
Where you share today?
Why is there a delay?
That is it. That's gonna be the delay. That's the that is the actual
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
It's earmuffs I have on.
Denetra. You're okay. That was Denetra, y'all.
Good afternoon. Good evening. Good night.
Lord.
Is that really your Facebook profile? There's a Facebook profile that got your name on it.
Yeah.
What does it look like? A sunset? Yes.
Yeah, that's her.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
When's the last time that you've been on it?
She don't go on it much.
Trying to stand you up.
Will not confirm or deny.
So, guys, as we prepare for the show, really just appreciate y'all being here. We're going to go visual live in a minute. Let's check our mics and make sure you sound good in the mic. Make sure everybody got good volume, please, in your
Check.
mic.
Check.
Can you hear yourself? If you can't hear yourself, you're not close enough.
Check.
I can hear myself.
Give a little bit more. Get a little bit closer. Dave, can you give us a little bit on the mic?
Closer?
Can you bring up my highs?
Some mids, take them down. Yeah, give me a little bit more in the house.
Take the bottom out.
Take the bottom out. She wide open. That's Denetra quoting Bishop, y'all. For those of y'all that,
Hey, Bishop.
yeah, because he will tune in later on or something. He'll catch it later on. So. Check
Me?
1 2. Check 1 2.
Check. I'm good. Yeah. I don't know the difference.
You can hear yourself.
This child. Yeah.
We good, Dre?
Yeah, what we got, about a minute? Da-da-da-da-da. Okay, yeah, you got it. Okay, people's looking good. Da-da-na-na-na. Go get your friends. Go ahead and copy and paste. Share with your friends, please. Tonight's show is going to be pretty hot. We're discussing the independent woman, the strength and the weaknesses of her. We see a few people on the airways. We go live and I don't know. I can't see the countdown.
We're live.
You ready to pop in? Can I get my intro for the radio? Can I get my music going? You know what I'm saying? He put me straight on the live screen. Let's get it. Give me my song. Give me my song. I want my song. I'm going to get Ebony actually to write me one. I done seen her to do some bad ones.
Fight like a winner.
Whoa.
Fight like a winner. Yeah.
Oh. Come on, get me ready. Get me ready. Give me a little bit. Give me a little bit. Nah, I ain't perfect. Yeah, what to do, what the business is. This is Reverend Drake coming to you live from the Free Thinkers Radio studios. Today's show is going to be pretty hot, man, but I want to just come to you first, letting you know that if you're trying to reach us for any speaking engagement or to get product books that we've authored, you can reach us at www.imjustsayingdre.com. That's www.imjustsayingdre.com. And today's show, I guess we got the giggles. Today's show is going to be on the topic of independent woman, the independent woman. the strengths and the weaknesses of her. In my studio today, I have two newbies, two first-time guests to the show. But let me just say it like this: y'all might have heard us clowning before we came on. I, with full confidence, have invited two women that I think are balanced in their life, balanced in their spirituality, and will add some substance to this topic. And so don't judge the book by the cover. You just sit around and hear the conclusion of the matter. Y'all take a few minutes to introduce yourself, tell the people who you are, and what do you do as a profession, if you don't mind, please, starting with you, Ms. Brittney.
I am Brittney Davis. I authored a book or published a book last year called The Waiting Room, Choosing to Just Be. So right now I am working on writing more books and speaking, also implementing my program into high schools.
Okay. Your first book that you wrote, just tell me real quickly, what is The Waiting Room? What is the thesis on it or the plot?
The waiting room is simply about just the process of waiting, and there's things to be done. So many times as people, we're so, and not just women, but men, we're so focused on the destination that we don't enjoy the journey. And obviously that's a, common, perspective that a lot of people have, but there's things that we should be doing. And the choosing to be is choosing to exist in that space and getting it to the fullness. So I go through the book and it talks, every chapter is about what you should be or could be doing through the process of waiting.
Okay, that's what's up. That's what's up. Ms. Shine, go ahead and introduce yourself to the people. Tell them who you are.
Good evening. My name is Denetra Shine. I am the Director of Operations for Word of God Church and Ministries and a former military officer in the United States Army. And the only reason why I'm bringing that up because I'm going to weave that into the discussion tonight.
Okay, that's
I
what's
am
up.
not an author of a book, but I wrote a check earlier to pay the water bill.
See, but I wrote a check early. Okay, check this out. Before we launch into the show, man, Dave, can we get the camera over here on me right quick? I want to tell y'all about something right here. This thing right here, this product right here, this is the Word of God's first full live worship experience. Now, any of my friends that know me, know I'm not a choir dude. I'm a Fred Hammond. I'm a SAP or Commission or some of them type guys. But, man, I got converted. Now, they ain't want me over to no quartets, but I can say now, my boys, all y'all that's in Kentucky and my people in Michigan, you want to download this. It's on iTunes. It's the Word of God worship experience. I think it shows up like Word of God singers when you
Worship singers?
Yeah, worship singers. And when you go to order it, 17 tracks on this bad boy, I think it is, and every one of them are fire. You ask me which one is my favorite, I'll say yeah. And you're like yeah, that's how many are my favorites. But you can order it on iTunes or Google. Is it Google Play or something like that?
Amazon is also.
Amazon as well. So please, it's $9.99. That's $10, y'all. Go ahead and get it, and don't be copying it off other people, and don't be waiting for nothing. Just go and get it and support. And to my Word of God family, I told y'all I was going to outsell y'all on these. Y'all forgot I had on my own radio show. So we're going to move as many as we can. And anybody that purchased them, just let me know that you got it so I can beat my people. And this is a godly competition I started. You know what I'm saying? So with that in mind, we're going to prepare for our show to begin, man. And let's just open up with a word of prayer. Father, we thank you and praise you for this day. We thank you for your anointing. We thank you for your grace. We thank you for Free Thinkers Radio. Thank you for the medium, God, just to bring the word to the streets. We thank you for this opportunity. Please, God, glorify yourself in the conversation and let it be comfortable, God, but let it be relevant. We'll just be careful to give your name the praise in Jesus' name. Amen. Ladies, are y'all ready to dive into it? Let's go. Let's get it popping. So today, I posted on my Facebook page, and I did see a myriad of comments. But I posed a question, and I'm always doing something like that just to start the fight. But my question today was, what is the difference between a woman and an independent woman? Let me add this caveat too. What is the difference between a woman and an independent woman, and who made the difference? Let's go.
You go ahead.
Want me to go first?
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, as far as I'm concerned, I would say that For me, there is no difference between the two.
Hmm.
I think there's a difference in the type of when we say independence.
Okay.
And I've broken it down into two different types. There's circumstantial independence,
Okay.
and then there's the Declaration of Independence.
Okay. Let's expound upon them. Yes, sir. I tried to tell y'all it was coming. Hold up. I tried to tell y'all it was coming. Didn't I tell y'all? Okay. The circumstance of independence. Expound upon that a little bit, Denetra.
Yeah. Well, circumstantially, it's when you're in a position where you're not married yet, you don't have a spouse, a husband, and your circumstances have dictated your status.
Status.
Yes.
Okay.
And I say status because when it's circumstantial, status allows for change.
Okay, that's clean.
When there's a Declaration of Independence,
Come
though,
here now.
that is when somebody has declared that they are independent. So what you've done now is you've caused yourself to be in a state.
Wow.
What states do when you're in a state that doesn't allow for
Declare.
change?
Yeah,
you're
yeah, yeah,
declaring
yeah.
that
Woo.
as what you are.
And did you say it doesn't allow for change? Because you declare.
Because you've
Yeah.
declared that that's what you are.
So the power of death and life is in your
Yes.
own tongue and in your behavior.
Absolutely.
And you can declare yourself single for the rest of your life
Yeah.
by declaring yourself
good.
independent.
Yes.
Man, that's fire.
That's
Man,
really
that's
good.
fire right there.
Yeah.
Come on, jump in, Brittney.
And many times to take that, like especially in this day and age, we're like, oh, I'm an independent, I'm a strong woman. We put all of these adjectives on what a woman and not just I'm a woman.
Why do we do that? What do you think that is? What
I
is
think
it?
that, like I had posted on your on the comment that I made, is that we try to create these categories to separate us or to make us feel like we are better than, or we're not what our mothers used to be, or our aunts or our ancestors, that I'm a independent and strong and I'm getting it for myself. I'm not barefoot and pregnant. And that's not what a woman is. A woman is not barefoot and pregnant.
Come on now.
A woman is knowing her worth and knowing who she is, knowing her influence and how to use it, and when to fall back and be quiet, when to be still. And many times I know women who are even listening now. What do you mean be still? That means exactly that. Know how to be still and be quiet. Doesn't mean that you don't have a voice. It doesn't mean that you don't know how to articulate yourself. It doesn't mean that you don't know how to even express to your spouse or to someone that you're dating where they lie wrong, but it's knowing how to in your delivery. And so when you say that, a state of independence or declaring, that's deep right there,
No,
because
that's fire
it
right there.
is because
That's a fire statement. So once, and let me just, let's go and start that fire for real, y'all. So when you declare an independence, my question is independent of or from what?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's a question.
And it is a good question, and probably a question that those who've made that declaration probably haven't asked themselves.
Right.
Yep.
Because a lot of times, and not always, but oftentimes, that is a seed that's planted in most, that depending on how they were raised, if they were raised by primarily a single mother, they may not have had a mother that had told them you don't need a man. But with the absence of there not being a man there,
It's clean.
they've come to the conclusion that
It's
a
not
man
needed.
is not necessary for me to be able to accomplish things as far as the household. But what is often not discussed is when the single mother is in that position, because they're trying to act in both roles, they don't have the opportunity to be able to relay the hardships of being a single mother to the child, or to the daughter in particular that we're talking about now.
Okay.
So they'll feel the effects of it, the daughter will, and from the feeling that will plant seeds, and God forbid you have a mother that has said, you don't need a man to make it, girl, go get it for yourself, all that kind of talk. God forbid that's happened, but you start to walk out what you've seen or heard.
Okay.
Yeah.
My boy Dion hit me up earlier on the post, man, because I was like, when did it start? You know what I'm saying? When did it start for this current culture? So my man went back to 2001, and I pulled up the song with Charlie's Angels, and
Destiny's Child.
Destiny Child. All the women that's independent, oh yeah, and then it's about the ring I got, the rock I got, the car I got, the this I got. And how come independence is always about stuff?
Because they're watching too much TV.
Yeah, somebody else said that too.
Did they?
Too
Yeah.
much reality TV.
Yeah,
Somebody
yeah.
literally said that.
Yeah.
I forget who it was. She actually literally said, That's why I tell my daughter and the rest of them, y'all watch too much reality
Yes.
TV because you made independence about stuff. Okay, and now that you get the stuff, what?
Yeah. Yeah.
I think a lot of it goes back to when you think about like in the 50s, in the 40s and 50s, and women were stay-at-home moms or stay-at-home. They were
Are you
wives,
talking about after
housewives.
World War II? Yeah.
Well, yeah. So what I'm saying is that when you talk about categories, is here it is. My mother or my grandmother used to stay at home and couldn't speak, or she couldn't do anything and she couldn't buy anything. She had to ask her husband. Now it's I can buy everything for myself.
Well, when he comes back from the war, he's got PTSD and all these other things,
Yep.
Agent Orange and all these other things, and they didn't get the proper need or the proper assistance. Now the woman has to do something that shifts. Even Reagan in the 70s or in the 70s, Reagan even balanced out the what we call the workforce. Remember, he took the one $15 an hour job, made two $7.50 an hour jobs, and then pulled both of the parents into the workforce. Women, and generally, are more, there's a known fact, not a prejudice, get more education. So when they start talking about filling quotas and having to fill jobs, it's easier to raise the woman to the status because she got the education. You got to fill the quota, and it's easier to demean or diminish the man. Give her the job, put him in the lower circle. Then you got the lockup thing. You got all these other things working against us. Then we come up with this stupid phrase, I'm an independent woman. If you're independent of what? If you're independent of a man, watch this. That means the man is no longer needed. And if he's no longer needed, he'll stay with you but go get the cute girl. Because the cute girl somehow subsidizes his need to be needed because at least she look good. Or, I'm talking about the psychosis now. I'm talking about a whole transitional psychosis of the flesh. You know what I'm saying? Not talking about the spiritual warfare that the man doesn't even know that he's confronted with when he's not a man at home. And we got all these other things that's being thrown in on top of it to the point now where it's my daughter coined this phrase, man, a war on submission. I was like, what did that mean? So I called her and she broke that thing down. And when you said that about the 40s and World War II, that's what she expounded on, did some statistical data on it and showed the decrease of the family unit to where a woman is quicker to want to embrace role reversal than a man is in many cases. Because when a man does role reversal, what does he do?
Well, let me jump into
Let's go.
Going back to the World War II situation. I don't know if it was one or two, but
Okay.
because y'all know that famous painting with the female who's showing like a muscle.
The muscle. Come here.
Okay, just to give some background on that, while the men were going to war, the women were
nurse
put
went to
in,
war.
not only them, but there were women who had to work in factories
Gotcha.
to make ends meet
Come on,
while
Denetra.
their husbands were
Come on.
away. So it's more than just the internal situation of having, a mother that may be influencing the independent mindset, because that's where I wanted to go with the Declaration of Independence as a
Okay.
mindset. There's also, from the outside, governmental, in this case, where you're causing women to have to take on roles that they weren't initially designed to take on.
Come on.
And now it's bleeding over into modern day because now you have women, and like I said, I mentioned previously that I was in the military, and thank God I'm out now because when they're talking about women being on the front line, you have women that are actually lobbying to be on the front line in the military.
Yeah.
And I have a great concern about that, mainly because I did deploy to war, and I deployed to Iraq, where there was no what is officially called a front line. It wasn't like Vietnam or World War I and all that, where you knew where the front line was. So you knew where, you could place all your support elements that primarily had the women in them if they were not at home. But now you have women that are lobbying to be in the infantry units, which is all male.
Right.
We just recently had 2 females that became Rangers, which is a special forces type of unit that has never had any women in their ranks, period. My uncle, who is a colonel in the Army right now, went through Ranger training. I think he went through like 2 times because of how strenuous it is. So now they're saying that these 2 women went through the same training one time and they made it through. It is my belief that that was done on purpose to allow for that, because me as a woman, and I'm going to make this real quick, but I need to make this point. I don't believe in that whole women on the front line for 2 main reasons. One, because of what the front line is. That's where the enemy, you have close contact with the enemy. But I think it's a selfish thing because, one, you're making this pledge that you want to be on the front line as if every woman in the military wants to do that. That's not. So now you're putting other women in positions that they did not sign up to be in. Nor was it even doctrinally something that was supposed to ever happen.
From the origin.
The second thing is, where I believe that it's a selfish thing, is that a real man instinctively wants to protect a woman. So if you have a woman in your foxhole on the front line, you're instinctively, as a real man, going to want to protect the woman, which now leaves you in the position and her in the position to get killed by the enemy. Because now your attention is diverted. So, but see, these things are not considered because you have somebody that is trying to prove something. And now we got to figure out what that something is.
That's hot. So
it's selfish.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's being selfish. And then when you talked about popularity, it's amazing because thinking about Destiny's Child, when they came out, you thinking Destiny's Child, they were the hottest, female group. And so if they're saying
hottest single female group.
Exactly. And so if they're saying independence is the way to be, then it truly is the way to be. That's just like when Beyonce came out with, Put a Ring on It. Everybody was singing that who was single while she was married.
Yeah, but that came after she talked about being independent.
Yeah.
They forgot she wrote the track. They wrote the track for the movie.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But Charlie Angels, everybody posing, everybody, going through the motions.
Yeah.
So she wrote that track for the movie. But then when her and Jay-Z was falling out, she told the women, y'all can say what y'all want about my man, and you can think whatever you want. I ain't letting him go.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because I was independent for that season, or circumstantially, or I hadn't matured yet, or I put my career first. But I got a family now. You know what I'm saying? So people are still stuck on that. And I'm going to throw this out here. I think some of the women hide behind the coin independent to cover up for the fact they can't get nobody.
Well, I mean, that's a perspective.
That's a perspective.
Because they always make it like I can't find no real man, and the men are intimidated by what I got. The real thing is a real man ain't intimidated by what you got. And a real man is actually impressed that you got something. That you have something to bring to the table in the first place. When you talk about a real man, we want to talk about a real man, let's read Proverbs 31 right quick. Okay, listen to this. 31 and 10. Y'all call me Bible thumper, but my show is a Christian-based show, and and I use the word for my argument. So in Proverbs, listen to this, 31 and 10. And this is that war on submission, Janice, that you were talking about, because the woman that God ordained is powerful in her own right without any titles. You know what I'm saying? Who can find a virtuous woman, the book says, for her price is far above rubies. The heart of her husband do safely trust in her, so that he shall have no need of spoil. She will do him good and not evil all the days of their life, or of her life. Listen to this. She seeketh wool. In other words, she got to hustle, flax, and works willingly with her hands. She is like a merchant ship because she's creative. She brings her food from afar. This is the woman of God. Was she independent or is she interdependent? Because she's working for and with her family. Yeah. The woman is actually designed, I'm talking about the order of God, is to submit to God as her husband submits to God. She submits to her husband, or she covers her husband, then she covers her children. That's God's order. So to come back now and say you're independent or you're strong or you are alpha woman or whatever other title you want to throw on there, you're declaring yourself that I don't need a man. You know what I'm saying? And I'm going to come back to a point that actually triggered this particular show was in a conversation you and I was having, Brittney. She rises up yet while it's night or early in the morning. She gives meat to her household and a portion to her maiden. She considered the field and then she buys it. That's a hustler. That's a real estate. She knows something about, you know what I'm saying? She's an investor. She's shrewd in business. She's building it up. But watch this. The fruit of her hands, she planted a vineyard. She girded her loins with strength, and strength is in her arms. She perceiveth her merchandise, and that it is good. And her candlestick goes not out at night. In other words, her light that shines. She layeth her hands to the spindle, and her hands hold the dish shaft. Watch this. But I like the part right here when it talks about her husband is known in the gates. I skipped a little bit, but watch this. Her husband is known in the gates because she's grinding and making sure home is straight, so he don't have to be distracted distracted with that. So he can be the elder. So when we talk about the Proverb 31 woman that everybody try to run away from, there would be no Proverb 31 man without the woman. So when many of the women don't want the assignment, don't know it's the honored place that God ordained to help him meet this destiny so she can meet her destiny. It goes that way.
Yeah.
You know? So why does that sound so old-fashioned in this day and time?
It sounds old-fashioned because it's not being modeled. And it's trying to be modeled apart from God.
So you're saying that just because I date him and I live with him for 9 years, he's supposed to treat me as a wife?
Is that what I'm saying?
No, I'm
Absolutely
just
not.
saying. I just
That's
threw
what's
that out
being shown.
cynically.
That's
what I'm
what's
saying.
that's what's being done.
demonstrated.
Yeah,
Right,
for sure.
Right.
But it goes back to what I just said. That last part is because it's being done. Let me put it like this, since this is the topic of the show. We're trying to do all this independent of God.
See, that's where I was going.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
my whole
yeah.
thing. When you start calling yourself, man, you just snatched it from me, because that's exactly what I was setting it up for. Honest to God, I was going to walk all the way through the intellectualism. We're going to walk all the way through the tree of knowledge, all the way
Right.
through
That's why I
how
was trying to
smart we
wait.
think we are.
I was trying to wait,
That's
too.
what I'm saying. I was going to walk us all the way through how smart we think we are and what we've come up with, and we didn't come back to tell God, I'm independent of a man, which is independent of your designed origin for my life, and which means I'm really independent of you. God, I know how to do me better than you intended for me to be. Come on, that's all about it. Yeah, because you didn't already started. So
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Oh, you want me?
Yeah, come on.
Brittney, you
No, go ahead.
Okay, what were we talking about? Okay, let me go back to circumstantially independent, because even as you read Proverbs 31, there is still a level of independence that's there.
Right there.
Right. But the difference, like I said, going back to the Declaration of Independence, that is somebody saying that I'm mutually exclusive from, that it's not necessary. And this is not, and I also have put interdependent too, because even in the scenario of the husband and the wife, it is an interdependence. One needs the other, just like submission is one to the other. And so when you don't understand the dependency on God, first and foremost, it doesn't matter, whether there is a man in your life or for the man, whether there's a woman in your life, if you both have not submitted to God, you're going to have a level of a declaration of independence of some type, even if you're with somebody.
Yeah, that's
because
what's
you're
up.
not understanding what
Covenant.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because if you don't understand it, even if you don't have independence, you're going to have codependence.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So that's a
Wow.
whole different.
And that's a whole different.
Yeah.
So it is more than likely that it happens this way too. A woman declares or circumstantially or declares her independence, and when she gets somebody, she loses her. It's almost like a chameleon. A chameleon sometimes can change itself or adapt to its environment, but when it's getting ready to be eaten, it has a way of blowing itself up and making itself look larger to its predator. And when it blows itself up, all you gotta do is poke it, and the air is gonna go out of it because you're trying to say, "Don't eat me." And so the cry of the independent woman is really trying to blow yourself up so big, saying, "I don't need no man. I don't need no man. I don't need no man." And one thing come, pop, and all of a sudden, I can't find no man. Ain't no good man. I thought you just said you didn't want one.
Well, and I don't want to be talking a whole bunch, Brittney, but
No, let's go.
a lot of it too, Elder Andre, is for a woman to be able to understand and know what a man is. Now, if you didn't grow up with that,
Okay.
then you're already behind the power curve in that regard.
Okay.
So it's not so much for some women, in my opinion, that they just, I don't need a man. That's just a declaration. I believe that there is things that happen and stuff that they go through that, from one, if you didn't have that modeled in your home, so now you're already behind the power curve and you're looking for something that you don't know what you're looking for.
That's deep.
So when you find something
Something.
that is a male,
Got you.
and you may get mistreated, then you're getting to a point now where, I did go out there and I tried, but see, that's still doing it outside of God.
Got you.
So you will always be chasing the dog's tail in that scenario.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, that's one perspective.
And so, I think about, for me as a single mom, having had a 2-parent household. So I wasn't that close with my father growing up. Okay. We became close in like my teenage years, probably like shortly before I got pregnant.
Okay.
And he has been there ever since. and he's taught me what it means to be a man, like what it means to really have a man in your life. And prior to that, God would send people into my life, like men in my life. I remember Bonds, he's an old friend of mine. We were really close, and he would come over, he would do his laundry, and he would take out the trash. And I would go, I'm like, no, I can get that because I'm used to doing it. I've been doing it the entire time. So I'm like, no. He said, no, you need to understand what it means for a man to take a responsibility and do it himself without being told.
Right.
So there's things throughout my life that I've had, even when my father and I weren't that close.
Okay.
So when we became close, and I mean, obviously my father has always been a pillar, a spiritual guide, and all of that stuff. And one thing I posted on Father's Day is that he definitely taught us the basis of truth and allowed us to follow or evolve and search ourselves what we believed, right? But he was always a staple. He was always there. We may have not been emotionally close growing up, but he was always there. He was a protector. He was a provider. He did those things. So for me, I knew what it was to have a 2-parent household, which is why I didn't want to bring anyone into a situation that didn't have that. Yeah. So now I have a son who I am very much at an early age, probably as early as maybe 6 or 7, I would explain to him what a family was, like what it means that this is our situation because this is a choice that I made, but this is not a family. This is, and not to say, and I didn't want him to feel like, oh, me and my mom are not a family,
I get it.
but that we're lower than. But I wanted him to understand what it meant to have a family. And many times, single women are some of the ones that struggle with that independency, that struggle with the balance of, and really it is a balance because, and I posted the other day about, you know, don't send me happy Father's Day text messages because one, that's disrespectful. And
my girl Danielle posted one on about mahogany cards had a section.
Oh wow!
For mothers on Father's Day.
Yeah.
And she killed it though. The young girl killed it. Yeah. When she commented on like, man, this is the most disrespectful thing I've ever seen.
It is.
Yeah.
Because I know my role in my son's life. Okay. I know who I am as a mother and as a woman to him. I can't make him into a man. All I can do is teach him how to be responsible.
That's good.
Right? So many times we try to take on this role that I need to teach him how to be a man. I need to teach him how to treat a woman. No, I just need to teach him how to be responsible, how to be a man of character, how to be a man of integrity. And that's he'll figure out the rest. You know, and God got
enough of us around him to help him with that.
Exactly. Yeah. And when and the part of having a relationship with God is really trusting in him that he will not only bring in the right people, but he will fill in when there's nobody around.
Absolutely.
And many times we get kind of tossed up in that because we're like, oh, and my friends know, I talk about it all the time. They don't really understand. Some of them know that when you go from being a disciplinarian to a nurturer, that's so hard. It's hard to and you talking about a boy. Now I gotta beat you, and then I gotta say, you know, look, I'm not. Let me just put out there. I don't beat my child. I'm not abusive, but I just use that terminology. But I have to discipline him for lack of a better. If I have to discipline him, and then I have to turn around and say, I love you. This is that's hard. That's it. Because it's different when you have a father go in the room and handle business, and then a mother comes in later and say, hey, you know, you're gonna be all right, but hey, this is how the cookie crumbles. It's totally different. So yeah, is there times that even now I struggle with a matter of being balanced, right?
I want to tap into that. You actually, do you have anything you want to expound on that before I go to the next phase?
Yeah, go ahead.
I want to expound upon that particular thought, Brittney, because you and I were having a conversation a couple of weeks ago, and I caught you in a vulnerable moment, and I'm like, aha, that's it. And you like, what? That's a show. And you was like, what? And because I said something to the effect, you're cool. You know what I'm saying? You have guy friends. You can hang out with the guys. You know what I'm saying? You're cool. But your reply was so woman and so balanced and you said, yeah, but that's a downfall. That's when I discovered that my strength in being understanding men. I use the N-word, so I don't say it. You know what I'm saying? You know, he was like, yeah, but that's cool for them to hang out with, but that's not.
Because it doesn't translate.
How did you?
It doesn't. What happens is that I like to say it's an independent woman, as we call her, is like exotic, right? A man likes it. It's like she's ambitious, she's outgoing, she dresses well, whatever. She has a lot going for herself.
Okay.
But what happens is behind that woman who struggles with balance, she doesn't know how to be a woman. She doesn't know how to be gentle. She doesn't know how to be soft. She doesn't know how to be vulnerable without feeling like it's weak. Because I had posted in a video, I said something about, grown women cry. And many times we think, we were taught, whether it was learned behavior or whether it was said, is, girl, you better stop crying, or you better suck up those tears. We say that also to boys, suck up those tears, that type of thing. And so we're taught to not be emotional. And if we are soft and gentle, that's a weakness. Right. And actually it's a strength. It's a strength because it's your womanhood. It's your essence
and you will get anything done.
Yes.
Yeah.
But we don't know how to translate that from, I understand men. I understand what it is that they like and what it is that they desire. And I've had male friends. I've been in relationships, so to speak. And what I have found is the struggle of balancing, knowing when to be vulnerable, when to be gentle, I watched, Sarita Jakes and TD Jakes were talking about relying on relationships at the pastors' leadership conference. And she said something, and she said she had saw her aunt just always bickering, and they was domestic violence and all of that stuff. And she said she vowed at a young age that she would not be a mouthy woman. And I took that and I listened to it, because a lot of times we feel like we always have to say something in order to be persuasive, or order to be influential, or in order to stand our ground and have a voice, that we always have to say something. And sometimes it's not necessary to say anything. And that's something that I, as a woman, still have to work on. It is not, you can have all the intellectual, all of the knowledge and all the wisdom, but sometimes it's just not meant for you to say anything in that moment.
Yeah.
And that's a balance.
Yeah.
It really is a balance of understanding, how do I go from this, just like being a single mom, how do I go from a disciplinarian to a nurturer to a teacher to a friend? I'm not your friend, I'm your mom. All of these different things, but still remain at the core of who I was called to be.
You
that's good.
You ever struggle with balance yourself?
I was about to jump in there.
Go ahead. So that's why,
did.
that's why one reason why I selected you guys is because, in our personal space, y'all, y'all shown
chopped it up.
You chopped it up.
Yeah.
Word.
Chopped it
Let's go.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Well, just to piggyback on what Brittney is saying, I don't have it from the single mom's perspective, but I did actually have a small taste of that when I had my godson for almost a year. And at the time I was engaged, but it was not like my fiance and I were living together. So it was essentially me raising him for the 11 and a half months that I had him. So I felt that, what you're talking about, where you don't have the balance of being the nurturer and then having to, although he was a good child, so I didn't have to do a whole lot of spanking, but even with the stern talking and then still having to come back and, be the nurturer. It's a difficult thing for somebody that has to do that from 0 to 18 or longer, and you're doing that by yourself. So certainly for single moms, I'm praying for all of them, because that is a position to be in, especially when you have multiple children.
Yes.
That's a lot of weight.
Now you're dealing with different personalities.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And we're what we're not addressing is the weight that's on a lot of women. And to go back to me, and the reason why I started talking was to talk about the fact that me being in the military, and I wasn't just in the military, I was an officer, black female officer, which means that I was in a lot of circles where I was the minority every time.
Right.
And so there could have been the pull of trying to prove myself.
Yeah.
But thankfully, God knew better, and I had a relationship with the Lord prior to going in the military. Now, that's not true for everybody.
Right.
So I had other black female counterparts who felt like they had to wear it. And I have to try to keep up with my male officers by being strong and stern and all that. And now there is a balance with that too, because being in the military, you've got to find the balance of knowing how to, especially as an officer, because NCOs are supposed to be like the fathers actually in their delivery and direction. And the officers are more like the mothers, because we're the ones that try to help keep the peace and the balance in the home.
Organizational structure.
Exactly. And so, but still, you still gain the same type of leadership building and structure that sometimes is not commiserate with your womanhood. Let me put it like
That's
that.
real talk.
And I will say that it really kind of escalated for me having deployed, because I was the commander at that point of the
You had to-
unit. So I had to lead them into
war.
Iraq.
Combat.
Yeah, into war.
You had to
Yeah.
declare and define and direct.
Yeah, yeah.
In combat.
I didn't declare independence though.
No, no,
But
no.
I had to take them,
No, you-
to a war zone.
Yeah.
So like literally, and I shared this testimony with people as I'm led, but literally going into a combat environment when you are the lead person like that, the weight that's on you
Absolutely.
is beyond anything that for me a woman should have to bear. Because what I had to do, I had to turn off the switch of my emotions.
But yes.
Because you're not. This is not a movie.
No, this
Like
is
you're
life or
literally
death.
in
Yeah, real talk,
a
real
life
talk.
or death situation. And every part of me, my womanness,
Everything.
I wanted to be the mother hen and try to protect, but you can't be in that mode because there's a zone that you have to get. I'm talking about you're in a place where your weapon is on fire
That's it.
and you're ready to shoot somebody. I never thought in my life that I would ever have a mindset
That's real talk.
where I would, but something clicked in Iraq for me.
That's real
where
talk.
it was like, no, I'm getting back home
Yeah.
by any means necessary.
And that's the reality of it.
But the reality of that is, that's for me.
What was the
this
weight?
is my opinion. Yeah,
What was the
that
weight?
that's not something that a woman shoulders should have to carry because it's not strong enough. And I'm saying that not so much for being in the environment.
Mm-hmm.
I'm talking about after. Because after I got out of the military,
After what
the
you saw.
effects of
Come on.
what I
Come
went
on.
through.
Yeah.
And see, that's what a lot of when I go back to the females that are fighting for this frontline situation, it sounds all glamorous and not even glamorous. It sounds, like a point of honor that I'm standing up and I want to have this cause for women. But no, you're thinking about now. But I promise you, once you leave that environment and you leave the military and you're trying to be a normal woman, you're going to have a lot to try to comb through to get back to your femininity, your womanhood, because it's something about it that it causes you to be so out of balance because by nature we're nurturers.
Got you.
Yeah.
And so
Then
if
to
you
have
put
to
in a
cut that
situation,
out,
yes,
That's
yeah,
a shock factor.
It is.
That's a
It
shock
is.
factor, yeah.
It is.
And then you
Yeah.
don't know, you don't know the balance of how to flow that out. I think salvation, I'll share with you, salvation is balance.
Yes.
It's being able to, balance the life out. We got a couple of questions that came in, and then somebody said it sounded like trauma. That is trauma.
Yeah.
That's what Sister Sabrina said.
Oh,
But someone asked a question, how are we defining independent? And I don't know any other way to define it other than if we pull up the definition.
I got it right here.
Yeah, go and pop it out. Yeah, so if we're defining independent, it actually is
Free from outside control,
free from outside control.
not depending on another's authority.
Okay, not dependent on anyone else. No, that's the war against submission. Go.
Okay, not depending on another for livelihood or subsistence.
Okay.
Self-sufficient.
I feed myself. I buy my own stuff. I do.
Self-supporting.
I open my own door.
Self-reliant.
I got my own car. Got my own house.
Capable of thinking and acting for one's
I'm
self.
by my own self.
Self.
Yeah, self.
Self.
Yeah. So the
Self.
key, selfness.
Yeah.
It's not selfless. It's all about self, and it's all about stuff.
Yes.
So when you start dealing with the terminology of independence, and someone said, "Can you? When should a woman apply independence? When does she should apply it? She should be already whole in that fact that." Her independence is when, as she stand alone. Her interdependence is when she's in a relationship. Though she does not have to lose her identity, it actually evolves more in her femininity because it comes out and it makes a man want to be, if he's a man, it makes him want to be more of a covering, even if she makes more money. I want to throw this out here. If in reality, if I make such and such $1,000 a year, and my fiance, my wife to be, makes more than me, we put it together, we make.
Yeah.
I ain't tripping.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I ain't one of them people, you make more than me, I feel like less than a man. No, because I got other things inside me that money can't pay for. You know what I'm saying? That money can't buy, and I have other gifts and talents in me. And when I connect with the right piece, it will be released. Because there's a favor that comes along with being married.
Absolutely.
I also think that many, like especially in this time, is that we feel like because we've embraced certain responsibilities of the roles that we can now be in the role. It's just the person
say
who.
That, hold up. Say that again. Hold up. This ain't even poetry.
He's so silly.
Say that again.
So no, it's that we embrace that. Like, okay, so I can bring in the bacon and I can cook
Fry it
it
up in the
too,
pan.
right? And fry it up, right?
And
So
never let you forget that you are a man. Cause I'm. My bad. Go ahead.
So it's like that. I've taken that responsibility on, and I've taken it on so much that I feel like now I can take over the role. And it's the same thing and for those that are believers and who go, but listen to this, it's the same thing of a person who feels that they are called to be a pastor. And they are sitting in the pew.
Hold up. Say that one more time. Say it one more time.
It's the same thing of someone sitting in the pew and feel God told them 5 years ago, last week, 10 years, whatever the case, that you're going to speak to the nations. That's always the line.
That's good.
And so they're sitting in the pew and they're watching someone who's gone through weight and turmoil and distance from their family, and they've gone through nights on the floor, and they've gone through all these different things. And because they've spoken at different churches, they've done the responsibility. They feel like I can take over the role of what I see in front of me. And it's the same thing with that independent woman, is that we've taken on some responsibilities, and we feel like, especially those women who want to be on the front line, that I can now step into a role of a man who who takes the front line.
God.
Because I can hold a gun, I can shoot a gun, I can crawl, and I can do all these different things that he can do as whatever it is. Because I've never been in the military, but whatever it is, I've taken on certain responsibilities that now I can assume a role. It's the same. It's the same thing of this whole role reversal thing that we have going on, and how they're defining BU. BU has become sexual orientation and not the authenticness of who you are.
Oh my God! So it's now it's now LBGTQIA, queer something.
Yeah.
My daughter was just explaining. I'm like, where the other letters come from?
Yeah.
Because it evolved.
It's evolved.
But the whole onslaught is to demean or discredit God's origin, creation, man, and to bust this order up. So we're really saying, I want to be independent of God's will, but to use God's name. Because the first thing an independent woman would declare is, I can do what a man could do because God made me that way. Well, if God made you that way, why are you fighting for that place called some type of equality, or to show yourself that you're equal to, when the whole plot of the enemy is to destroy God's order? Because so watch this. While we going into all these alphabets and moving into all these letters, you got men sometimes don't want to be men. You got women not wanting to be women. And we do this role reversal. Somebody even said that they know two couples that use roles reversal, and it works out fine. It don't mean? Yeah, but I don't give a care what they say.
How fine does it work?
No, it don't. You got a woman that thinks she's a man and a man that thinks he's a woman. That don't work out fine. Nowhere.
Look,
it might look okay, but that mess don't work out fine.
Look, being very transparent is, I can do a lot of things. There's a lot of things that I can accept and embrace, and there's a lot of responsibilities that belong to the role of a man and a leader and a provider.
Come on.
And I've done it for a very long time. Yeah. I don't want to do it.
Exactly.
That's real.
And
I don't want to. I don't want to. And as much as I can, and as much as I've said that, it's circumstantial. As much as I've been in the place of having to do it, I don't want to.
Tag.
Right?
Yes. Yeah. And the I don't want to has to come from a place when you get tired, though. Because just like you said, Brittney, there is the ability to do it by the grace of God, really. The ability to do, because it's been done, but there is a point where you get tired. And I think for the ones that still try to hold on, they're not tired yet. They have not reached a point where because I'm telling you, it's circumstantial when you understand that, like I said, it's a status that you're in. This is not going to be this way always. And you literally have to encourage yourself in that when you get weary. Because it does get to the point. Because even when you stop and you're looking and you're like, for real, Pickens is slim.
Yeah.
Now, this is real talk.
Yeah.
Wait a minute.
Pickens is
Yes.
slim.
That's a whole nother
Yes.
show.
Yeah,
It sure is.
That's a whole nother show.
slim.
So when you start talking about circumstantial,
Yes.
independence, is being made to have to step into a responsibility.
A responsibility.
I like that.
That's it.
Yes.
That's it. A
It's a
responsibility.
responsibility,
Not the
not a
role.
role.
Not a role,
Yeah.
but a responsibility of providing the balance and providing this and providing that.
Yeah.
I like that. I like that. And thank you for balancing me out. That's one thing that I do appreciate about our relationship,
Yeah.
though, is the balancing, the balancing act that I get when I talk to people who are, watch this, spiritual but not churchy, love
Yeah.
God, but we got
Yeah.
some insight. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? And these type of topics here would run many preachers in the ground. I'm talking about male and female, because they cannot have, all a man could say is what the Bible said. Well, what
Yeah.
about the people that don't follow the Bible? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure.
Or the woman will say, well, God made me this way and I'm this, that, and the other. But one thing that I also say is, what happened that we've come up with our post-creation definition of ourselves? What happened that we've come to the point where we told God, I can do me better than you can? Give me some. That's one of them things that make you go,
It does. It's making me go.
yeah.
On
You
the
know what I'm saying?
spot.
You know what I'm saying? Give me some.
I'm trying to think here.
Ooh.
Well, go ahead.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
no.
It makes me think about, things, life happens, situations come about.
Right.
And when we go through it and there isn't, like when we go through it and things come out okay, we almost feel like, oh, I did it. Like I
Yeah.
did it.
You're
Like I
glorifying yourself.
Yeah, like I did it. I came through this. Even to the comment of the couple that said that they do role reversal and it works for them. They have taken what works for them and made it like this is like
The
we
standard.
can the standard.
Yeah.
Like we can like I can do this. So therefore it automatic. I mean the fact that the decision was even made and there's no judgment, but the decision was made outside of the will of God. And a lot of times, there it is. It's disobedience. That's where it is. Is that
There go the closing.
it's disobedience. So the more and more we live life and the more we do things, we disobey. So we automatically separate it.
Descend.
Every time.
Descend.
Because we feel like, no, we can do it this way. He says go left. No, we say go right. And then he says go up. No, we can go down. He says move. We stand still. And so every time we do that, we disobey and we move further away. And then when we get to a certain place that we feel like, oh, we've made it,
bottomed
or
out.
we've cut,
Yeah,
or we bottom out, or whatever it is now we crawl back. But the part of being independent of God is that when things are working okay. When things are, because it says
It
the
has to
gift
be.
without repentance. So I can still be intellectual. I can still be insightful. I can still be administrative. I can still be merciful. I can be all these different things. I can sing.
He gave me his gift.
He gave me his gift. He's not
Gotcha.
going to take it from me.
He will.
He's not going to take it. So I'm still successful. So therefore I can do all these things.
And get drunk
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
then say, look at what God did.
Yeah.
And half of the stuff God ain't did. Because most of the stuff that God did, one thing that God won't do is give you nothing that'll take you away from his will.
Yes.
Yeah.
Everything that God gives us is to lead us closer to him.
Yep.
There are some things that we do and some things that he keeps from us till we force ourselves to get it.
Yep.
We work for a living till we don't get a chance to live. We work so hard to get this status. And when you get there, that's what I'm talking about. The stuff, you still end up unfulfilled.
Yeah.
Because disobedience will take you where you want to go and keep you longer than you want to stay. And when you get there, you say, I made it, but then you got to go do something else because
Yeah.
it's not. That's why they add more letters to this stuff. But we're moving in. And I said this. What is wrong, or what is the picture that's been painted that femininity and softness of a woman is weak? Where did that come from? Who did that?
I think with that, though, it really, because, you can have femininity, just like you can have a man or you can have a male. You can have a female, you can have a woman.
You saying something?
Yeah, and so with the femininity, that is something to me that's cultivated, and it's cultivated by a man that helps you to fully walk in that.
Yep.
And apart from that, you really don't have anything to calibrate yourself. You know what I'm saying? Because that part is for him, just like his manhood is for the woman.
Yeah.
So that is the balance in the coming together. So he can, just like a husband washes his woman in the word, he can wash her in different things that help her to blossom
Pull her into that place.
as a full woman, and that's what's missing.
Let me put some word on that.
Yeah.
He that findeth a wife findeth
Yeah.
a good thing and obtain favor from the Lord. Here come the exchange. He that findeth, ETH. So he finds her in one phase. And then he finds her in another phase. And while he's evolving her or developing her, or she has a teachable spirit, and he's washing her, as you say in the word, there's a favor that God gives him because he's finding her.
Right.
Yep.
And many times our relationships actually crack. I've lived through it, and now I got some understanding on some things, is because we meet somebody at one phase and we stay stuck at that phase.
Yes.
And we fail to go back to God and say, help me find her
Yeah,
again.
yeah.
Because the wife doesn't know what kind of wife she is for the man unless he leads her.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know, we have a theory of what we think being a wife means, but it doesn't mean it fits that man. And
Right.
that
Yeah.
man is responsible to cultivate, prune, purge, develop,
Yeah.
and she has to be pliable. She has to be soft. She has to be teachable or willing to learn. And then she has to give back out of that place, because all a man actually needs is simple respect and to know that he's believed in.
Yeah.
When we wash it all down to its irreducible
Yeah.
common denominator, we're not that complex.
Right.
Just want to know you believe in me and that you respect me. And even on my days when I'm funky and I'm foul and I'm out, I want to be my better self for you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so we have to balance that out even in relationships. So the favor that God gives me is to help me keep finding her in the different phases of her life.
Yeah.
And as I find her, and I can declare her woman, God can declare me man. you
Yeah.
know,
And
put me in place.
and then prior to you being found,
Yep.
women, and for
That's
the
the
men
Yep.
that
waiting
have
room.
not
Me.
found yet,
Yeah.
we need some meantime brothers
Yeah.
that are able to
Yep.
be there for the sisters in a way where it's exclusive from trying to get her into your bed.
Yep.
What's up?
Because when everybody is in that meantime phase, especially in Christ and
It's
primarily in
developmental.
Christ,
That's good.
you have to have those brothers, and I have quite a few of them, and I thank God for them.
Yeah.
You being one of
Very
them,
true.
Yeah.
that don't take advantage
just loves
of,
you.
Yes,
Yeah,
Yes.
it just
yeah,
loves you, man.
and can
Yeah.
still give the example of who is still coming.
Yeah.
Yes.
It may not necessarily be you,
That's what's up.
and then for the man realizing that he will know when he's found it.
Yes.
But you can't find something if you grabbing up everything.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right.
You know what I mean? So
That's good.
exercising some self-control and being available as a true man of God and a brother that the sisters can come to without that all the extra stuff, because a sister is not necessarily coming to you because she's trying to get with you.
Right.
And a brother, from the flip side,
Yeah.
sisters, the brother is not coming to you necessarily because he's trying to get
Yes.
with you. And if we can have those type of understandings from the get-go and help to foster and nurture, during this meantime, then we'll have some better findings.
I think we all have to learn the process of sanctifying one another, as
Yeah.
we're sanctifying ourselves. I'm going to set the stage for us to close out. Believe it or not, y'all have done an awesome job.
Oh, praise God.
It's almost an hour.
So, is it?
Oh wow.
Yeah. It's
Sweating bullets over here. Y'all.
Right.
Sweating
But you
bullets.
guys have done an awesome job. But I've declared that one of the most difficult places in my life over the season, that's one reason I came to Word of God, is my area of consecration from my life. I've been so afraid to just yield it all to the Lord because I trip off what He's already done
Yeah.
or what I've given Him. So it scares me, honestly, but I know it's a place that I have to come to. So I am thankful to God in this season that He's positioning me to be able to see and cover and protect as he's doing things
Yeah.
in me and for me. And I thank
Yeah.
God for both of you.
Bless you.
For just candid conversations off air, just things that can provoke, and for trusting me
Yeah.
to say, nah, I need both of y'all. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, thank
I
you.
want y'all, to come in and share because you got something to say. So I really appreciate that because sometimes we'd rather stay in the back and do things in
Yes.
our own lane.
Yes.
Yes.
But there's a need for a you. People don't get to see that side of you. They see you administrating all these properties we got, but they don't know There's a word in you. There's a lady in you. There is intellectualism. There's a commander in you that still, you know what I'm saying? There's a survivor. In the same way with you, Brittney, you're an author. You've come to this point where you really want to do things, and I love it, on your own. You don't want to use your family name. You want to do what God is giving you to do. I respect that.
Yeah.
But in the meantime, as I see you, I see my daughter. I see Janice in you. And so there's that part of you that's a little, you know what I mean? But you can share that.
Yeah.
You feel me? And that's precious. So if you guys have any closing comments you'd like to share about the show and what you think, or, you know, how people can contact you, Brittney, for speaking, you have your own mentoring program and things like that, or anything, Denetra, you want to add, y'all go ahead and give y'all closing comments. You're good.
My last thought is just really for any of the women that are listening is, you know, prior to being found and, you know, just in a place of waiting, there's work to be done. There's finding out, you know, just really who you are and really what God has called you to be and what you enjoy, what makes you happy, all of those things. And then also really pray about sending really healthy men into your life. Not for dating, not for the one who's going to swoop you on his chariot, but just someone that can really speak into you that
Chariot.
On a bike.
yes, right?
Yeah.
All right.
You know, that can really, you know, speak into you, because to your point that you said, man, the balance of having a man that can really bring out that real lady in you, man.
Foster.
It's something real special about that. So, you know, until you have that, just wait, you know what I'm saying? And I hate to say just wait, but just like in the midst of it, really look for those big brothers, look for those men that are in the church that, you know, you approach it and say, look, I don't want nothing from you. Don't try to talk to me. You know? Like, just help me out, you know, tell me when I'm wrong, tell me when my feet stink or whatever the case may be. My attitude ain't right, you know, be straight up. Like, hey, that's not womanly. I need you to soften that up.
Right.
Have people in your life that can be that real with you to say, nah, you need to,
And you trust them
and you
enough.
trust them.
Yeah, you trust them.
You trust
enough.
them.
Go ahead.
And
Denetra.
real quick, what I would encourage everybody to do is much like what I've been doing for some years now, and that's doing things and making sure that there are no voids in my life.
Yes.
Because we'll always have gaps.
Yeah.
But God
Or
always
if there are voids, make
Yeah.
sure you know them for yourself. at
right,
least.
and allow God to fill it, because you're going to have an unrealistic expectation for somebody else to do that, and if it's not going to work in a relationship, I'm gonna tell you that. I'm speaking from experience. So, and then lastly, just looking for those rooted areas in your life that may be pulling on you in that direction of saying that you're independent. Finding what the root of that
what's the
is.
pain
Yeah.
of it?
What is
Yeah,
the
what's the pain or the
disappointment?
trauma?
What
What's
is
the
the hurt?
reality?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And healing from
because
that.
even if you're going to be independent, you don't have to declare it.
If you're
Yeah.
declaring.
Yeah, why you
Yeah.
got to declare it? You know what I'm
Yes.
saying? 'Cause
Yeah.
it might be circumstantial, but you don't have
Yeah.
to declare that's who you are.
Absolutely.
You know? So that's how we're going to get down, man. I'm going to read these last two comments, Dave. You're going to have to do this the way you do it. Somebody actually says if a man cleans the house while the woman is outside doing the work, is that is that what a couple would consider role reversal? For me, yeah.
If the man is
He
cleaning
cleaning
the house?
and the woman outside cutting the grass.
Well, I mean, if they like that though.
If that's their passion,
If that-
but for
yeah.
me, you heard what I said.
Yeah, for me. Yeah, I'm not
Yeah.
cutting the grass.
No, for
I'm
me,
not cutting the grass.
she
I don't know. No.
she situationally or circumstantially had to cut grass before I showed up.
But I don't mind the
like
guy
what I'm
busting
saying?
some suds now.
You know, I'm
Yeah, 'cause look, for
I'm
me,
domestic.
I'm gonna have that in the budget. Matter of fact, a cleaning crew, because my house is clean, but I would definitely prefer to cook than clean. So I need you to have that in your budget.
okay. Then York says existing in a situation or in a season does not equate evolving. I think that was pretty powerful, man.
Say that again?
Say that.
Existing in a situation or in a season does not equate evolving. It doesn't mean because you are in a circumstantial independence that you are.
Right, absolutely.
You
absolutely.
you've
yeah.
had to be.
That's the whole status and state thing.
Yeah.
That's it.
so,
Yeah, man.
yeah.
And that declaration thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's stolen.
Lord.
That's stolen.
Yeah,
So
she
as we
steals
get
a
ready to
lot.
get up off of here, we
Yeah.
get to the last minute. I don't even know how David gonna break this show up. But he'll take some stuff out and add it in, man. We love you guys, man. See you
God bless.
same time, same bat station. That's on the next time on Free Thinkers Radio. I'm just saying, Dre, we up out of this place. Thank you. We still on the air, guys. So Anybody got any comments or anything you want to share? Please go ahead and toss out any questions you want to ask anybody before we get out of here. We'll give you another 5-10 minutes before we get up out of here. So, any questions for any of the panelists or anything? Get it in. But y'all, how y'all feel? It wasn't bad at all, was it?
Right.
Yeah, that's like, you probably gonna sleep good tonight, buddy.
Yes.
Yeah, you probably gonna sleep good
My
tonight.
whole insides is
Yeah.
like a microwave right
This
now.
is
Right.
not what you prefer, and I think that's why the opportunity is coming, Denetra. Okay, somebody call that self-inventory when you're talking about the gaps and stuff
Yes,
like that.
yeah.
My homegirl from Michigan, but she's in Atlanta. She said something about the gaps. Wait or make a mistake, Sabrina said. Like, comment, share. This is a great show. Okay, that's Darren. Okay.
Does anybody have any like
Questions or anything?
I didn't see
I'm
any.
trying to see. I don't see any at this time. I want to cut grass. I want to cut grass, but he won't let me. This is Patrice. She don't wanna cut
she would cut grass. She would cut grass.
She would
Patty.
want to cut grass with some doggone boots on and some coveralls. I teased Lisa the first time she told me she was driving the
lawnmower.
lawnmower from her mama house, to our house. So I told her, did you have a straw hat on with a straw out your mouth? Overall.
The long.
One of the first things that I did when I went to cut the grass, I had to drive the lawnmower from my mama house through because they community. But it's
a push lawnmower.
Zero turn. It's bad. So you flying. It ain't nothing like.
Oh, okay.
I was painting the country picture and all of
You
that
know
stuff.
what my father gave me for a housewarming present?
What?
A push lawnmower.
What?
I was like, you know I don't cut grass. What you? What is you thinking about?
That's too funny.
I ended up selling it. I gave it away or something.
Hold up, you are on the air. You do.
Am I? Oh, hey, Daddy.
Somebody will cut and paste this. Somebody will cut and paste. Hey, thank you, Darren. Darren said, good panel, great panel.
Oh,
and then Sabrina said, Mr. Denetra, you always give a good word, man.
Oh, praise
and then
God.
you had somebody, Britt, while we was on, she said, great job, Auntie. Was a
Yeah,
great-
Auntie. Shout out to Auntie.
Look,
Yeah.
that means, look, Janetta is
Okay.
like 2 years older than me.
Oh, she called Auntie.
Because you have to remember I'm the youngest, and so my oldest brother is 25 years older than I am.
Oh, that's
your
right.
niece-
That's right.
Yeah,
That's
so
right.
my nieces and nephews on this,
Yeah.
we're all around the same age. Yeah,
Got it. Okay.
So
okay.
you Auntie, but they be like, girl, you
yeah.
my niece.
Exactly.
know,
Like,
Let's go hang
you
out.
cousin,
Where we
like
go?
you my
Yeah,
cousin.
that's what's up.
Dion put, she transitions into becoming a man.
Yeah.
In striving to be independent, she oftentimes forfeits
Yeah.
her womanly nature to a degree. Agreed.
Yeah, that was sick. right
Yeah,
there.
agreed.
And that's the type of stuff, man, that once again, guys, I thank y'all. And Denetra, I say this, I've said it, behind your back, I said it to you. You're loaded, and you have something to offer. And Britt, just getting to meet you in these last couple of months, daughter, I have I will push you till your brains fall out because I see.
Brains.
Yeah, I see the hand of God on your life. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? And because my daughters are not in my periphery, I can get to them because they're not here. I pray that what I give you, that be somebody to trigger in Janice or Janelle or Kali or Andrea. You know what I'm saying? And so, and thank you. Thank you
Yeah.
both for trusting me. With that because I just know everybody that got a title ain't got an anointing. And there's some people who don't want a title, trying to run from it, but know that you're marked by God. And sometimes all you just need somebody to do is say, "I see you. Let's go." And I think that's part of my assignment for you guys. To aid in that process. So I appreciate it. I really do.
Well, I appreciate you, sir, for inviting us and
Voluntolding you?
Yeah, voluntold.
Yeah,
Borderline stalk. No, but I appreciate you. I really do.
Yeah.
Because you do need people sometimes that will kind of kick you in the rear.
Yes.
To get out of that whole cycle of fear and step out in faith. So I appreciate that. I do. And for Brittney, don't know all that you've done, but I'm inspired.
Yeah.
Just knowing that you've authored books and you stepping out there, that's big. That's big. Yeah.
By the way, she don't say that lightly. I just want you to know.
No, I don't.
If she didn't
I
mean
don't.
that,
Yeah, I don't.
she ain't
blow
saying
smoke.
I'm a good read of people. I picked that up.
Yeah,
No, she
really
amazing.
am. Yeah,
Yeah.
So this is a blessing. Thank you.
All right, Facebook Live. We about to get up out this joint, man. We appreciate y'all. Thank y'all so much. Your auntie Regina. You got an auntie Regina Boyd?
Yeah, now yes.
Legit.
That is, yeah.
Now, she was trying to ask all these trick questions and carrying on.
I know. I see
How you
that.
define
Can I be independent
Can I
with-
be
and she-
independent with somebody? And
No, you cannot, Auntie.
cutting
Can I be
grade-
independent with a
cutting-
man? No.
No. And cutting grass is not role reversal. I didn't say it was. I said for me.
Where do you see that?
She just said it. Cutting grass is not role reversal.
Oh, I didn't get that.
Oh, yeah, but her country self want to get on with it. Don't about your business. It might be, what you call it, circumstantial.
Yeah.
You might have grown to like it. Anyway, so we love you guys.
That's too funny.
Really appreciate it. All right, deuces, we off here. The news